the special meeting of the Metropolitan Council. Not a special meeting, sorry, to begin our meeting of the Metropolitan Council. Today is Wednesday, June 13th, and I call the meeting to order. The first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved and seconded?
Seconded.
Seconded, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted. The next order of business is the approval of the minutes from our May 30th meeting.
Move approval of the minutes of the May 30th meeting.
Thank you. Second. Any discussion or edits? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is adopted. At this point in the meeting, members of the public who wish to address the council on matters not on the agenda may do so, but I would ask you to please just limit your comments to 3 minutes, and I know that we have a couple of folks who have signed up. The first person we have on our list is Harry McLean. Is Harry here? Welcome, Harry. If you could just introduce yourself for the record. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Harry McLean. I'm here as a member of Local 1005 ATU. I want to thank my brothers and sisters at the union for taking out time in their personal lives and their busy schedules to come here and support persons such as myself who have been disenfranchised from employment unfairly so. In respect to your wishes to keep this brief, I would just say that this incident happened on the 31st of March. I've been pretty much unemployed since then. The most diabolical aspect of that is the mental anguish from my former employer and how they have approached this whole episode. The scenario is comparable to a person who has been brought in as a person of interest. They're offered a plea deal to accept something as a guilt that they're completely innocent of. It's difficult for me to wrap my mind around that, the complexities of that. It's a guilt, and to prove yourself guilty, and then beg and plead for your employment opportunity. It just doesn't resonate. Again, I would like to see some of you sit in that seat and have to endure what we do on our best days, more or less the things that we are driven to endure during those worst case scenarios, of which I happen to have experienced. I'm not going to talk about fairness. I'm not going to talk about justice because that doesn't seem to be anything that plays in effect. However, I hear a lot of things come from this agency about respect, dignity, pride. I think those are more or less sound bites because I have yet to see an application in fairness across the board. There's a benefit of the doubt provided to some. There's you're definitely have no issues to others. And then there's a lot who are, you're just guilty, you're out of here. And so we here, ATU, Local 1005, to address that particular scenario, the last one that I presented, that a person is determined guilty, period, and then adjudicated as guilty, and then expected to beg, plead, dehumanize, demean themselves for an opportunity to continue their livelihood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. The next person on the list is Donnie Jones. If you'd like to address the council. Welcome, Mr. Jones.
Hi, how you doing today? My name is Donnie Jones. I'm the union steward and I'm the president of the Black Caucus of ATU 1005. We've been coming here now, basically, Harry's been off. He was off 31 days with pay. He's now been fired for another 40 days. Now, I would like to thank Brian Lamb and Brian Funk. They have reached out to myself and Ryan Timberland, and we have discussed it and a few things, and we think we're making some headway, even though we're not to where we should be. My biggest concern is that the disparate punishment amongst the African Americans versus our counterpartners. Now, sadly to say, the problem isn't in this room. The problem is Christy Bailey. Christy Bailey is the person who is rendering all of these decisions. No matter what her decision is, somebody needs to either reel her in or monitor her, or maybe you need to have a group to see why is she rendering these decisions. You know, you have Mr. Lamb here, Mr. Funk here, Christy Bailey here. Okay, you have an African American who did anything wrong. Passengers known by the police officers, he's been threatened. He's fired. Excellent work record, superior work record. You turn around, you have a Caucasian driver who is actually, work record is very bad. Same incident, he actually elevates the situation on the bus. He's given a verbal warning. What we're here today for is there's no way that Harry should be penalized. We have a progression here. Harry should have been given a counseling, brought back to work, and on with business. You know, I know you guys do not like us coming down here because you want to go pick up your kids from soccer and all that beautiful stuff that you do, because last time we were here, a lady told us, thanks for sharing our stories, you know, like we were making them up. And it's real life incidents that we're dealing with. So it's sad to say, but something has to go on with the disparate treatment amongst us, you know. And we told you we'll be back. We're going to continue to come back. Hopefully the Harry thing will work out. I mean, there's no reason a man should be off work for 70 days. Yeah, he was paid. There's no reason it should take that long to even make a decision, you know. On top of, we still getting drivers assault. I had a driver spit on last night. You know, it continues to happen. It continues to happen. But the biggest thing for us is this disparate treatment. You know, at the end of the day, somebody has to look at it. I mean, I have numbers that you will be blown away. For every African American that's fired, a Caucasian driver is allowed 2 or 3 opportunities. And I'm all for that. I cheer for that. We just want to be able to get the same opportunities they get. Give us 2 chances. Give us 3 chances. If you're not giving anybody chances, don't give anybody a chance. And then we wouldn't be here. And that's all I had to say today.
Thank you. The next person on the list is Ryan Timlin. Welcome.
Hi, council members. As you all know, I've been here a couple of times in the last few months. I will say some good news to start off, just to let you all know. I just got back from Washington, D.C., where a bill was put forward by the ATU with the help of the Senate and Congress on driver safety and public safety, dealing with blind spots on buses and the barrier issue on how to design the workstation to actually, which would reduce the health effects on drivers over the years, but also make it much more safer to operate the vehicle. I wish you all to look into it. If you'd like to know more, we can get you the bill number and everything. But we've been here. I will say I agree with a lot of I agree with pretty much everything Donnie said. We're here. There has been progress made, but we don't feel enough progress for the situation. And from what we're seeing, we do feel there has been disparate treatment amongst different sections of the workforce. And in the case of Harry specifically, the thing we've been bringing up over and over and over again for Harry is Harry was protecting himself and he was protecting the passengers. He was threatened. I wish there was a way for anybody to sit in the driver's seat for a long amount of time. I can't even count the amount of times that my life was threatened as a driver, or how many here drivers were threatened multiple times in their life. The amount of stress that is tied to this, but also the fact of an LCA hanging over your head, a last chance agreement, it should be added and recognized. And there's been studies done. The Atlantic Journal in 2015, in December of 2015, released an article, and I brought this up before at the meetings. Bus driving is the most depressing job to have. And to have that type of work situation and then be put on an LCA, especially in the state of where things are going to be here in the next few months in the state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities, with the amount of construction, with the amount of traffic due to the construction, with all the bridges out, how stressful the job is on top of it, adding that amount of stress to this driver who, when it really boils down to it, there was a history with this passenger, who this passenger has been hostile to other passengers. He's been kicked off of many buses. In fact, the Metro Transit Police in the video itself state that they were looking for this guy and they were planning on putting a warrant out for him. He had assaulted 2 drivers in the previous week. The fact that that sits on Harry's head with the reality of what it is like to be a bus driver is too much for us to accept. And that is why we're here today. The fact that you will have that on your head when you already are trying to make up times in the intense situation, hoping that you can keep on schedule and maybe get a bathroom break. Now, we all know you can step off the bus and go to the bathroom and call transit control, but there's a whole added factor of stress after that you're already late starting your next trip and people are going to miss their transfer points. On top of it, as I've stated before and I will state again, with the crisis in U.S. society today, with the cutbacks on social services, the buses and the trains, as you all know, have become a de facto drug treatment facility, a de facto mental health facility, and a de facto homeless shelter. More money needs to be spent. I think less on putting into security. More of that money that's put into security in the transit system needs to put into actually having a more efficient running system for this situation. And that same money needs to go into these social services as well to prevent this. And that is why we're here. It is these factors all together that has led up to the situation that has put Harry where he's at. Where now, because he was trying to protect passengers and he was trying to protect himself after being threatened. And directly after being threatened, the guy puts his hand in his coat pocket and he's about to pull his hand out, and Harry naturally reacts for his own safety. He now has all these issues on top of it, and he's got the last chance agreement. I'm just going to leave with this point saying there's been progress, but we feel not enough. And we will keep coming back until we get our demand met of Harry back to work. Counseling, I think, would be great, but an LCA we feel is too much. And so thank you for listening to us tonight. But right now, we're very frustrated, and we're just asking for our respect and our dignity at this point. And so I thank you for listening to us, and we will be back.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion on it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is adopted. Next, we'll move to the reports of the standing committees. The first is Community Development. Councilmember Commerce.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee has one item to bring to the council. That's item 2018-141. It's a comprehensive plan amendment for the Helmo Bus Rapid Transit Station area by the City of Oakdale. And first, I want to say thank you to Councilmember Munt for chairing the meeting on June 4th in my absence. Members, the amendment relates to a 44-acre small area plan, acres that are adjacent to the future Helmo BRT station area on the Gold Line. And the amendment creates a general guiding land use called Bus Rapid Transit Oriented Development Guidance, and there's a number of sub-areas or subcategorizations of that as well. So the committee moves that the council first adopt the attached review record and allow the City of Oakdale to place the Helmo Bus Rapid Transit Station Area Comprehensive Plan Amendment into effect. Secondly, revise the city's forecast for population and households for 2030 and 2040 as shown in Table 1 of the review record. And finally, advise the city to implement the advisory comments in the review record for forecasts, land use, and housing.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Member Munt.
Madam Chair, I'd just like to compliment the City of Oakdale. This is a clear example of what station area planning success should look like.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is adopted. Next, we'll move on to transportation. Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Business item 2018-146 is the same week, and it deals with the award of a contract to construct a new transit station at the Mall of America. Improvements include better bus movements, so they no longer need to cross the LRT lines, safer pedestrian movements, better station visibility from 24th Avenue, a new connection directly into the Mall of America, a new police substation, and operator break room. Lighting, ceiling treatments, and wayfinding improvements. Wayfinding will also be improved during construction throughout the existing transit station site. An invitation for bids was issued on April 4th, 2018. On May 9th, 2018, 3 bids were received and opened publicly. Morecon Construction provided a low bid of $19,850,000. The bid was found to be responsive and responsible. I therefore move, Madam Chair, that the Metropolitan Council authorize the award and execution of a construction contract with Morecon Construction in the amount of $19,850,000. I don't know why I can't get that out today. For the construction of a new transit station at the Mall of America in Bloomington.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item? I think it's an exciting action. All those in favor, Member Wolf, sorry.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to comment, this is way, way overdue, and I'm glad that we're finally getting it done. I used that transit station 20 years ago, and it was a dungeon then. And so it'll be nice to see the improvements we can get just in our bus operations by not having to have everybody queue up to wait to go through the guards and get mixed in with the delivery trucks and everything else. It'll be a win for our drivers, for our passengers. I mean, it's a great project. I wish it hadn't taken so long, but I'm really happy that it's finally happening.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Madam Chair, amen.
And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is adopted. The next item on our agenda is other business. It's 2018-150, and it's a memorandum of understanding with Excel Energy. And to kind of kick us off, we're going to begin with a presentation from Ned Smith and Brian Funk. So welcome, Ned and Brian.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee, council. Again, I am Ned Smith. I am the finance director for MCES, and I am joined with my transit partner.
Brian Funk, Deputy Chief Operating Officer for the bus system.
So we're going to walk through, most of you probably saw some press releases last week. We're going to walk through more of the details of what this MOU is. Just to kick us off, the proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to execute a non-binding memorandum of understanding with Excel Energy, who's doing business as Northern States Power. At a high level, this is a great opportunity to share some benefits, both for Met Council and for Excel, and also for the region. First and foremost, of course, it's aligned with Thrive MSP 2040. We see this as executing livability and sustainability, as well as the principles of collaboration and integration, leading by example by lessening our greenhouse gas and criteria pollutant emissions. We, as the Metropolitan Council, are one of Excel Energy's top 10 customers in the territory. So we are a material customer for them, and using our purchasing power to help them further their green mission and vision is a wonderful use of our purchasing abilities. And annually, we are the equivalent of about 20,000 households. So it's a lot of electricity. For Excel, they are, of course, interested in providing renewable energy purchasing options that work for its customers, and they want to support the advancement of electric vehicles in Minnesota. So you've got a huge energy consumer, and you've got a huge bus operator. What a great opportunity to work together. The memorandum of understanding itself is, first and foremost, it is non-binding, but the goal is that we have 100% of the Metropolitan Council energy purchase from Excel to be renewable by 2040. We do want to emphasize that this renewable energy is additional capacity for Excel, so it's above and beyond what they are currently planning for their renewable plan. So this will increase the amount of renewable energy in the region. And the other important thing to point out is that neither the council nor Excel customers will bear the weight of this long-term cost. So you would think if they're building additional capacity, the expense of that additional capacity administration is built into the proposed pricing that we have been working with them on. We also have partners, we will partner to maximize the potential of available funding to research and demonstrate projects to support wastewater treatment and electrification of public transit. And the largest example of that beginning is going to be the electric buses. And then we will continue to partner with Excel for other opportunities to increase the greening of our purchases or operations. The first step in this process is going to be purchasing renewable energy from Excel at our Metro plant. The program name itself is Renewable Connect Excel Energy Tranche 2. It's very catchy. Wait for the jingle. It's going to be great. The council participation is dependent on meeting a couple of criteria as defined by the council. First and foremost, of course, is our legal and policy terms. We want to make sure that it truly is additional capacity to the system in the state and the region, and also our financial terms. So it's very important for us that the net present value be, on the whole, a savings for our ratepayers. And the terms that we have seen so far are certainly support that. Assuming those terms are met, we're going to start with applying 100% of the Metro wastewater treatment plant's Excel demand to the program. It is important to point out here at the Metro plant, we already generate some of our own power and our own steam to heat our plant through our incinerators. So this will be in addition to the greening of our Metro plant. But the idea is whatever we purchase from Excel to meet our demand will be sourced through green solutions. And then in the future, we want to continue to dialogue towards additional rate products. So we'll start with this Renewable Connect Excel Energy Tranche 2, but look for other opportunities to increase our green purchases.
All right, and I'm going to share a little bit of information about one of those opportunities that this really does a great job of paving the way towards. And so, as most of you know, we do have a pilot program in place to get our first battery electric buses delivered just sort of early next year. And while this is really exciting, this is just sort of a step in that right direction. And it's by all means a pilot program. We need to have the ability to evaluate how these buses are going to operate with our service demands as well as in our climate. Metro Transit will be among the first, if not the first, to receive articulated battery electric buses, the 60-foot variety. And they're being assembled at New Flyer just up the road in St. Cloud. And so it's a really nice thing for our region, and we're really looking forward to it. So the battery electric buses, why that program is so exciting, as it states on the slide, this goes towards our transportation policy plan and the Thrive 2040 MSP goals. We know that our bus rapid transit lines in particular, where we're starting to focus how these would work on those lines, navigate through areas of concentrated poverty, in particular ACP 50 areas, and they provide an additional benefit of that environmental justice by reducing harmful emissions along the routes for our customers as well as all residents impacted. And so we believe that from a financial standpoint, it makes sense. The additional capital investment, while significant, does have long-term payoffs over the life cycle. And so that's something that through this pilot, through the experience in the industry, we hope to better understand so we can make those smart investments with the taxpayer dollar. They do have quieter, smoother propulsion. We've had these on site. I'm really excited for delivery of the next generation of these vehicles. And the range, which is sort of what we've had anxiety, what our industry has had anxiety about, is really coming along and improving. The battery chemistry continues to advance, and each year additional strides are made so that we're able to operate our service as we would like to design it. As I said, this creates a pathway for us to have continued partnership with Excel. And as you know, Excel provides infrastructure. And so that's one of the key areas where we're looking to focus is how can we move beyond coming from a transformer to the side of the building and move into the building. And so having those discussions, we have a couple of, an internal partner who's been integral in this, Pat Jones, Assistant Director from Engineering in the audience, as well as Barb Jeroff from Excel Energy, to ensure that we're talking about things that make sense from both of our business perspectives. And so as we continue to move forward, launch this into the C-line, this is going to be a big component for our organization to move forward into the future.
All right. So for our Thrive lens, We see equity and livability. As Brian mentioned, that cleaner buses support better regional air quality, a special environmental equity along those bus routes. We do see prosperity in that we're advancing clean energy and we support healthy air economically. And we also eventually will see lowering our cost of service for our ratepayers. And sustainability will be advancing clean energy that supports a reduction in greenhouse emissions. I'd also like to throw in the principles of collaboration. This is a case where we have been partnering with the supplier to create a win-win solution for the region, as well as integration. We've been working across division lines and partnering with our transit partners to also create a win-win solution for the region. At this time, I'd like to invite Barb Giroff to come up and say a few words. Barb is our account manager from Excel. Very grateful to have her here today and show her and Excel's support for this agreement.
Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ned and Brian. So I am Barb Gerhoff. I am with the account management team at Xcel Energy, and I've been working with the Metropolitan Council on all energy-related issues since January of 2014. So it's been a pleasure to be involved in this development of the Green Partnership, and I'd also like to recognize Jason Willett for his efforts in working with us to really kind of drive this home and getting us moving forward. So it's great to be here today to discuss what we think is going to be a very successful partnership with the Met Council. At Xcel Energy, we have a commitment to reducing carbon emissions and providing our customers with clean, reliable, and affordable energy. And as part of this commitment, we were able to achieve a 33% reduction in carbon emissions from 2005 to 2017, and that was with a mix of 29% renewables and 58% carbon free energy, and that's in the upper Midwest region that we serve here. And we project that by 2022, we will be able to achieve a 50% reduction in carbon emissions, and that will include an energy mix that is 46% renewables and 76% carbon free. We also believe that we can achieve 85% carbon free by 2030. So the success we've had with this, we believe, is due in part to the work we've done with our customers, like the Met Council and other businesses, both large and small, to help them use more renewables and also to become more energy efficient. So our partnership with the Met Council just makes a lot of sense. We both have very ambitious clean energy goals, and we also want to see more electric vehicles, including buses, on our roads. Electrifying the transportation industry is going to go a long ways towards reducing carbon emissions even faster, and you'll be able to use Xcel Energy's clean energy mix that I mentioned to power the transit system. This agreement that we have in front of you creates the framework to move forward and help the Council achieve its goal of 100% renewable energy purchases from us by 2040. Purchasing this renewable energy is projected to achieve the cost savings for the Council. And through our cost energy savings and clean energy strategy that we offer customers like the Met Council, we are looking for more renewable options that fit their needs while also keeping our customers' bills low. So one of the options that Ned has already mentioned is our Renewable Connect program. So we already are currently serving Minnesota residents and businesses with clean energy that's solar and wind at this time, and it's been very successful. The first tranche is sold out 100% at this time, and we want to look forward to working with the Met Council to start serving the Metro wastewater treatment plant with renewable resources in the near future, and that will be through the Tranche 2 program that Ned also mentioned. So you might also have heard that Xcel Energy is also planning a future that has more electric-powered transportation options than ever before. We did file an EV plan for Minnesota with the Public Utilities Commission, or we didn't file it with them, but we did send out to our key stakeholders what our plan is going to be, how we're going to support the electrification of the transportation sector. There was a PUC workshop that was open to people to learn more about the EV strategies, and we are currently holding stakeholder meetings with different entities to talk about fast charging, fleets. We had today as a workshop just to get input and feedback into what our plan is and if people are seeing as viable and what they would like to see also. So we are engaging, specifically with the Met Council and some other larger customers that have this interest in adopting electric vehicles to see what those barriers are. How can we help them move past that and get more electric vehicle options out there? So looking forward to working more, as Brian had mentioned, together on what we can do to help Metro Transit do that. So also included in the agreement in front of you is the formal partnership that will establish the electric bus pilot, which we're hoping to file later this year, hopefully right after Labor Day. And so it will go towards collecting data, sharing data, pursuing funding opportunities, just collaboratively working together with the goal of advancing electric bus pilot technology as fast as we can. So we're preparing for a future where not only, we're currently your trusted energy advisor and service provider at your facilities, we also want to be able to do the same thing with customers' fleets. So once again, we're very excited about this partnership. It's a really good fit for both of us, and we look forward to building on our clean energy strategy and helping the council meet its 100% goal by 2040. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Barb. And I also want to thank Jason for his pioneering vision, as well as putting down the grandbabies long enough to come here and show support. Moving forward, our timeline is in June, July. Xcel will be soliciting proposals for procuring wind and solar energy. During August and September, Xcel will file the Renewable Connect Tranche 2 program request to the Public Utilities Commission. And at that time, the council will provide a letter of support and our intent to participate in the Renewable Connect Tranche 2. In September through spring is when the PUC will be processing the program for program approval, and then spring and into summer of 2019, we will sign up for the program and receive our first battery electric buses and begin C-line service. I do, of course, want to emphasize that council signing up for the program is dependent on it meeting all of our requirements, both financially, legally, and from a policy perspective. But all of our preliminary estimates are certainly aligned with our goals and as well as our financial constraints. And then ongoing, we again look to identify opportunities to expand the council's purchase of renewable energy. So with that, I will put the proposed action that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to execute a non-binding memorandum of understanding with Xcel Energy doing businesses Northern States Power. And at that, I will stand for questions.
Great. Council members, any questions? We decided to bring this directly to the full council because it was something that I think was worthy of full discussion before all of us, before it hit committee. So feel free to ask any clarifying questions you might have. I would also just begin by saying thank you to Xcel and to our staff for putting forward this idea and really kind of bringing us to this point where we're able to sign a non-binding MOU about our partnership. I think it's a tremendous goal to be able to set and assert that given our purchasing power and knowing how much energy we purchase, that we can help to lead the state, but also kind of nationwide in energy conservation and also achieving our objectives for a cleaner environment. I have to also thank Jason for being here and his leadership, and appreciate you coming back to be here before us today. Any other comments? Member Cunningham.
Madam Chair, I just think this is a great agreement, and I'd like to move it.
Got to move a motion in a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is adopted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we move on to reports. Council members, are there any reports that you'd like to share?
Madam Chair, I have to leave early because I have a grandson that's graduating from 8th grade. So
congratulations.
he'll be at that event. But I want to thank all the council members for their kind words and my father's passing. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. First, Member Elkins.
Yeah, I attended yet another autonomous vehicle presentation at the NIOP meeting on Tuesday, I guess, yesterday. And this one was from a real estate perspective. And so the presenter was the president of a major, design and development company. But for NIOP is the National Association of Industrial and Office Properties. So, but very consistent with other presentations that those of us are geeky into this right now. But saying focus on things like, okay, if you're going to be building parking garages, build them with flat floors so you can repurpose them. and talking about how, and he said they're already starting to design buildings focusing on the fact that people aren't going to be driving into a parking lot and parking. They're all going to be dropped off at the front doors, which presents all kinds of challenges in how you design the front door of a building so to prevent the congestion when hundreds of autonomous vehicles all arrive at the front door at 8 a.m. So I think the presentation will be online. When it's posted, I'll see if I can link to it because it was a good additional perspective on the topic.
I find that group to be really engaging too on kind of key public policy issues.
Yep.
So that's great.
And then I went to the ULI Regional Council of Mayors meeting over the lunch hour today, and a really interesting presenter from South Carolina or North Carolina. Is all about land economics and land value and how different forms of development have different fiscal impacts. It was mostly aimed kind of at a city audience, but with big regional development implications as well. So if that one gets posted by ULI, I'll circulate the link to that one as well.
Thank you. Any other updates? Oh, Member McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I, along with Councilmember Chavez, attended an MCES proposed budget community workshop in Eagan, and I just want to say that MCES does a really great job in putting together and reaching out to all the various communities. I also attended a Chamber of Commerce event, and they were hosting the Anoka County State of the County address. And last night, I had the honor in which the chair came out to one of my cities, and she spoke to the Lauderdale City Council, and she was really well received. And it's just wonderful having the chair come out to take interest in all these different communities, especially one city, which most people would consider a very small community.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun in Lauderdale. I really enjoyed the conversation. It was great to be able to visit the community, so thank you for inviting me. Other comments, other reports? I will share that I had the opportunity to visit the FedEx facility in Memphis to kind of see the amazing movement of freight through that airport in the middle of the night. The tour begins at 10 p.m., so you can really see, and Bill Goins, who's a member of the Transportation Advisory Board, had invited us down to kind of see the innovation and the technology and the way that they try to move freight around the world, basically, for people to get mail by 8 a.m. in the morning. And some of these, the collaboration with the med tech industry to also quickly move key components that are needed in surgeries around the world, which is really just fascinating. And a really good educational delegation thinking about land use planning and how they're trying to form and collaborate across multiple levels of government to really think about a vision, not just the airport, but also what an airport can do to help drive local economies. Any other reports that anyone would like to share? Seeing none, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?